Well, hello and welcome to a very auspicious occasion, my friends. How are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and this is the 100th edition of Front Porch Brunch. Glad to have all you folks here this morning with us. This is going to be no, it won't be, I guess it is. It's a very special occasion. The first time we ever did one of these was back on the 15th of April, 2023, and I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it that we've now done 100 of these. So that is it's amazing to me, absolutely amazing. So we're so glad to have all you guys here with us this morning. Welcome in to Front Porch Brunch. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am sometimes known as the fine fella in the fedora. On occasion, I'm called the chap in the cap. Sometimes I'm referred to as the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, I am your host. We are on Rumble. We are on Twitter. And we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, given the auspiciousness of the occasion, please do me a favor, take the link right now, share it out anywhere you can, be it on Twitter, on Gettr, Truth Social, Facebook. We don't care. Go ahead, put it out there and tell everybody to come on in. Let's see if we can get the biggest crowd we possibly can. We have got a fabulous live stream lined up for you this morning. And a lot of fun, a lot of hilarity, I hope, a lot of news. Some analysis, lots of things to be talking about. So please do me a favor, share the link out with your friends. And while you're at it, go ahead, hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment in chat, be it on YouTube and on Rumble. It really, really does help push this out in the algorithm so folks get to see what we're doing here. And we've got some new subscribers who've come onto the Electronic Front Porch. We're very glad to have them. While you're at it, go ahead and hit the bell for notifications. Make sure you're always aware when new material is coming out, be it a video or a live stream. And finally, share this around with your friends. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, doggone it, go ahead and do so. There's a bunch of you out there lurking around, and we all know who you are. So go ahead and just subscribe. Become a part of Fedora Nation. You'll feel better about yourself for it. All right, let us see who is here this morning. We'll start over on Rumble. And oh, yes, the OG Wingnuts are already assembled and in fine form from the look of it. WWG1 is here. He's dropping a whole host of memes. TBA says, I got this one too. Oh my God. What have you done now, you madman? Oh, it's got a language warning on it. Okay, TBA. I'll check it out here momentarily. Don't worry, brother. Let's see. Mr. Scott Awesome is here. Hello, fellow feds. Well, hello, Mr. Scott Awesome. Good morning to you, sir. All right, let's check out who's on the YouTube side of this thing that we call a live stream, and we will do so momentarily here. Let's see who all is here. Z Highness, welcome in, darling. Mwah! Glad to have you, you gorgeous thing, you. Sup, Mother Porch. Robert, I absolutely love you. Fist bump to you, brother. Let's see. Adam, our favorite crazy Canadian, is in the house. Konnichiwa. Porch peeps. All righty. Hardlands Media is here, and thank you for your kind words as always, sir. Greatly appreciate it. By the way, if you want to know what's going on in the Midwest, more particularly Chicago, this is the cat to follow. This guy right here. Subscribe to him on YouTube. Subscribe to him on Rumble. Follow him on Kick. Follow him on Twitter. Anywhere you can find Hardlands Media and Kit Cabello, give him a follow. Good dude. Let's see who else is in the house this morning. Let's see. A Jew, a Scotsman, and a communist walk into a bar. Does anyone buy around? Well, yeah. Yeah. The Scotsman might do it. I don't know about the well, no, never mind. I'm going to get in trouble here. Never mind. Adam. Let's see. Thank you, sir. I genuinely do appreciate it. Clancy's in the house. Oh my God. They'll let any Australian walk into this place. I tell you what. Good to have you here, sir. Fist bump to you. Let's see. Who else is here? Let's see. Oh, Robert, thank you very much. I genuinely appreciate that. A super chat for for a 10 spot. Congratulations on your 100th episode, Brian. Here's 1/10 of that. Well, thank you, sir. Anytime I receive a super chat, it's always greatly appreciated. Because I know economics right now for everybody is, one level or another is kind of difficult. But so any contributions that are made, always appreciated. Thank you very much, sir. Let's see. Miss Gypsy's in the house. Mwah. Good morning, you lovely lady, you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. What is it with y'all? Y'all have gone crazy. Clancy's throwing in. Happy 100th, my dear friend Brian. You are an amazing fellow. Your insights are invaluable, and your company is unmatched. We love you. Aw, Clancy. That's a damn nice thing of you to say. I genuinely do appreciate that. And let me tell you something. Another fella to absolutely give a follow to, Daniel Clancy. He's got channels on YouTube. He's got channels on Rumble. You want some absolutely hilarity, you need to be following Daniel Clancy. He is a good dude. And I mean that in all sincerity. He's one of the nicest fellas and a true representative of his nation, the great Australia. So to the awesome Aussie, we give you a tip of the fedora, sir. A tip of the fedora. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my word. Miss Patty's in the house this morning. Mwah, you gorgeous thing, you. Oh, my word. Oh, lovely ladies, fantastic gentlemen. Green dildos. What? Wait a minute. What's going on over there on Rumble? What's this about green dildos? Uh-oh. Oh, my God. You guys are great. No, it's really hard to believe that we've now done this thing that we do here on the Electronic Front Porch 100 times over the course of a couple of years. And it's been, and I'm not just saying this, I genuinely do mean it. You guys are my form of therapy. Now, I know that the OG Wingnuts hear that comment are like, oh, we're the therapy? You're in deep doo-doo. No, I'm serious. You guys are my form of therapy. Like everybody, I read the news. I consume information. Sometimes I want to tear my hair out. Sometimes I want to shout at the sky. Sometimes I want to, just give my opinion about all of it. And honestly, you guys are my form of therapy. You're my outlet. This microphone and this camera and this crazy thing we call the internet affords me the opportunity to come out here and tell you guys what I think about stuff. And, we find that we have a common bond and a camaraderie. And whenever we have the chance to get together, we try to do so. And honestly, you guys are my therapy. And if it weren't for you, I'd probably go more crazy than I am right now. So God bless every last one of you for the fact that you hang around the Electronic Front Porch and you support this live stream and this channel the way you do. So, and I'm not trying to be hokey about it. I genuinely do mean it. You guys, I've said before and I'll say it again, you guys are the best audience on the internet. Though we are small, we are fierce, much like Shakespeare said in his legendary commentary. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and all that you do for this channel that we operate. So, and with that, let us dive into the merry memes. Now, when last we gathered together, there was a meme that was provided by WWG1, if I'm not mistaken, and it was, we don't steal memes, we just share them around like your mother. Well, this prompted a certain amount of response from my audience, as you might expect, and someone asked the question, are you really going to keep on showing these memes that you do? I mean, you're really going to keep on doing the merry memes? Well, my response to that is real simple. Yeah, boy, we're going to keep on showing these, quote, stupid memes. How dare you even ask that question? Seriously? Of course we're going to do this. We're going to meme until the whole world agrees with us, daggone it. We're going to show these memes until everybody says, yep, old Front Porch and Fedora Nation, they are absolutely right. So, yeah, boy, we're going to keep on doing these memes. So, for all you out there that are not wanting us to do it, I got 3 words for you. Get over it. All right, now that we have taken care of the editorial portion of the live stream. Oh, my goodness. What else is going on out there? Now, this one isn't so much a meme, but daggone if this one's just not funny. I mean, people are commenting that, ever since Trump came back into office, the economy's getting better. They're starting to feel it in their pocketbooks, etc. But there is an inverse to that. For people who were enjoying, good economic opportunities for themselves during the Biden years, and believe it or not, there were certain industries and certain individuals in those industries that were enjoying economic prosperity. Man, ever since Trump came back into office, times got tough. I mean, matter of fact, I saw a guy the other day out on the street, and I really couldn't believe this was happening to him. But, sure enough, I mean, this poor guy, look at this poor guy. I mean, my Lord, they say that pimping ain't easy. Well, ever since Trump got back into office, this poor guy, look here, I mean, not only is he homeless, he's whoreless, poor guy. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, as he himself expressly says, pimp lives matter. So, if you see along the side of the road gentlemen dressed like this, just remember, there, but by the grace of God, go you. So treat this gentleman or any gentleman you find like this with all the compassion that you can possibly muster. So, oh my goodness, look at this. Oh, Patty, thank you. 100% great. I meme it. There you go, sister. There you go. And thank you for your generosity this morning. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. You guys are, and y'all gonna make me cry here or some such thing. I tell you what. Oh my word. You guys are you're too good for words. Now, I have always said that there are some memes that just speak for themselves. And, this one is kind of, Clancy. Now you are going to make me cry. I don't even have a handkerchief down here with me this morning. I even got I don't have a box of tissues. I mean, Clancy, I love you, brother. I absolutely love you. I wish I could give you a hug right now. I'm serious. You are too good for words. I wish I could give all of y'all a hug. Of course, I don't want to get into any HR issues, but what are you gonna do? No, I'm serious. You guys are awesome. Truly, you are. And I genuinely do appreciate every kind word that you guys give. Truly, I do. Now, I said a moment ago that there are some memes that just speak for themselves. And you know what? That being the case, I'm just going to pop this one up here. And political wisdom, it's stuff like this that keeps me on the internet. I'm serious. When you find, or more to the point, when you are referred to items like this, this is the stuff that keeps me coming back for more. I'm a very simple man, and it's wisdom like this that truly helps me understand. I mean, wind turbines are like strippers. When they stop working, when you stop throwing money at them. He ain't wrong, folks. Whoever came up with this meme, he ain't wrong. I'm just saying. Matty Bracco's in the house from the Twitter side of things. Hello, sir, and a fist bump to you this fine morning. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. Goodness me. The internet always wins. You cannot defeat it as much as they damn trying to. Ain't that the truth, Brother Clancy? Ain't that the truth, Brother Clancy? Preach on. In lieu of hug, substitute steak. Funny you should say that, Robert. Last night after work, there's several good restaurants in my hometown. Most of them are local. And I got in the mood for a steak. So I went to one of my local establishments here in town, and I had a very nice steak dinner. So funny, like I say, it's funny you should absolutely say that, because that's what I had last night for dinner was steak and asparagus. So to all you connoisseurs of meat, there you go. We raise a glass in your general direction. Oh. Oh my word. Oh my word. WWG1, I saw that comment about Chicago. Hold that thought, brother. We're going to get right into that. TBA says, ask Kit if he's seen the National Guard in Chicago. Thank you. I will ask him that question. He's not on here. What? Wait, he is on here this morning. Hey, Kit, if you're still on here this morning, have you seen any National Guard start moving around inside the confines of the city of Chicago at this point? Inquiring minds on Rumble want to know, my friend. But yeah, we're going to get to that story a little later in the live stream. So yeah, we got that one teed up, boys. Hold that thought. Hold that thought indeed. All right. What else do we have in the way of the merry memes? Now, a lot of things have changed ever since Donald Trump became president again. There were certain controversies that were happening that now you don't even hear about them. However, the pronoun controversy has indeed still persisted. And as you might expect, Donald Trump has decided to weigh in on this question. And he says his pronouns are as follows. I don't know, folks. I don't know if this is going to settle the controversy or if this is going to ignite it even more. But Donald Trump has weighed in with what he wants to use as his preferred pronouns. And after all, he is the president, so he kind of gets a good, kind of gets some sway on this question, guys. So his pronouns are "your effing president." So there you go. To the Donald, we raise a glass this morning. As Mel Brooks said in History of the World Part 1, it's good to be the king. All right. Oh, jeez, Adam. Oy, oy, oy. Tell you what. Oh, goodness. And Clancy, I just saw your comment over there on Rumble about what time it is down in Australia. Brother, the fact that you're hanging around with us at that hour of the very early morning in your country, fist bump to you and a hat tip, brother. But if you've got to go visit the Sandman here in a little while, I get it. So, but thank you for being here. It is 1 a.m. in Australia. Now, wait a minute. It's the 23rd of August here. What is the date down in Australia right now? Is it still the 23rd, or are you on the other side of the international date line? I'm just a little curious. Because I know the international date line falls. Clancy says, "Oh, brother, it's all good. I'm a nocturnal creature anyway. LOL." Oh, it's the okay. So it is currently the 24th, 1 a.m. in Australia. Whoo, brother. Hey, like I said, if you've got to go, sleep, I get it. But brother, thank you for being here this morning, especially given the hour and the day it is down there. Oh my goodness. Anyway. All right. What else is going on in the way of the merry memes? Let me see what we have teed up next. Ah, yes. Yes. Like I said, ever since Donald Trump got elected, there's debates about everything. What form of government, is the best? It's kind of like that question that to Conan the Barbarian, what is best in life, Conan? To crush your enemies and hear the lamentations of their women. Well, in this case, in America, it's like, what form of government is best? Do we want a republic? Do we want a pure democracy? Do we want ever else? Well, that debate, I don't know, is ever going to get settled. But one thing is for sure. There is one thing you should always remember when trying to decide what form of government you really want. And you know what? I think the boys from Monty Python and the Holy Grail were really on to something when they came up with this little gem. Strange women lying in ponds, distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I cannot disagree. I think they're absolutely right. So just remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you're trying to figure out what you want out of your government, don't go setting anything up that, is based upon, some saucy, lady in in water distributing some kind of metallic object towards your direction. Just saying. It gets a little bit hairy at that point. All right. Okay, what else do we have in the way of the merry memes? Oh goodness, you guys are on a roll this morning. Yes. Yes, indeed. In our efforts on the electronic front porch to help facilitate understanding and inclusion among people who may not speak the English language and those who are trying to learn the English language, or people who are speaking English and they're trying to learn other languages, we're always trying to bring about a certain amount of bilingual education here on the electronic front porch. And every so often we will do a word of the day. Well, the word of the day that we are going to highlight here on the electronic front porch and explain how you use it in a sentence is the word nacho. Basically, it goes like this. How do you use nacho in a sentence? Well, it's very simple. Nacho president. So if ever you find yourself in a situation where you need to use this word and you're trying to figure out the linguistic context in which you do it, just remember nacho can be used to connotate a negative. And for example, in this case, you could use it in this following sentence or expression. You could use it as nacho president. So there you go. Yes. As always, trying to expand everyone's vocabulary and broaden educational understanding here on the electronic front porch. And not only do we try to do that, in the way of educating about language, we also try to do that when it comes to understanding certain medical discoveries that have been made. Matter of fact, we came across something that a new test that led itself to a discovery about the human condition. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and put this up here for you guys. This is taken from inside of a doctor's office. So pay close attention and you'll learn something about a disease that certain people may or may not have. With that, here we go.
When you hear the beep, raise your hand.
Darling, take out the trash.
You didn't react.
Didn't hear nothing. Your hearing's perfect. Classic case of selective husband syndrome. Truth is, it's the only reason most marriages last this long.
When you hear the beep.
Oh, there you go. You didn't know it until today, but there is such a thing as selective husband syndrome. So for y'all out there who have a spouse and you wonder sometimes why it is that they don't seem to hear everything you tell them, just remember they could be suffering from a case of selective spouse syndrome, which is one of the symptoms is a certain amount of hearing that they don't sometimes hear things. They do sometimes hear things. So, and you want to share that with your friends, because if you've got friends in your life and they cannot understand why their husband doesn't hear everything they tell them, well, just tell them about this. You know, like I said, we're always trying to expand your education here on the electronic front porch, be it in the area of languages or be it in the area of medical understanding. Well, you know, I don't think any of us would have a problem hearing anything Sydney Sweeney asked us to do. I'm just saying. You may be right, my friend. You may be right. Just saying. All right, one last meme, and this will sort of lead us into our discussions of our first topic. You know, a lot of things have been said over the years about former National Security Advisor John Bolton. I mean, this guy has been around D.C. for decades in one form or another, working in somebody's administration or commenting. Well, it turns out he's gotten himself into a certain amount of hot water, which we will get to momentarily. And we may have found the reason why he's managed to get himself into hot water. So, folks, I don't know if you've seen this video or not, but if you haven't, Bolton has been very good at doing what he does, and apparently he has a secret weapon that helps him accomplish this. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out.
Has found the U.S. We seem to have breaking news. Apparently, the FBI has found the USB thumb drive they were looking for. Mr. Bolton was reportedly hiding it under his mustache. This is apparently the same technique he used to smuggle information in and out of the State Department. Apparently, it was President Trump who alerted the FBI to make sure they checked under his mustache. He said, and I quote, "Make sure you look under that son of a bitch's mustache. I never trusted that mustache." We seem to have break.
Well, there you go, folks. You know, for all these years, you thought that was just a.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, what's your secret weapon?
Cash.
Wait a minute. Stop. What are you doing here? Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes these things do happen. My crack staff sometimes makes mistakes like this, so you kind of got to look over them. Anyway, all right. I want to thank you to everybody for sending. It's one of those mornings. For sending over the memes. I want to thank everybody for their kind words. I want to thank everybody for everything they do to make this live stream as fun as it is. And every time we do it, it gets just a little bit better. Minor mistakes aside. So thanks to WWG1. Thanks to Adam. Thanks to everybody. I don't know that they're on crack, okay? Maybe they don't have enough crack. I have no idea with these people. Jeez. Oh, God, blessed Lord. Anyway, thank you as always to WWG1, to Adam, and everybody else who's thrown in the memes. It's genuinely do appreciate it. Now, wait a second. I say that, and TBA threw me a meme. Hang on. I gotta be fair to him. Let's see what this is here. Is this the? Let me check this out real fast. Oh, TBA, do not worry. We've got this one teed up. I saw this earlier. This is teed up. Okay. TBA also tosses a lime green dildo into the chat. We're back. Are you throwing dildos around over there already? It's 11 a.m. Eastern on a Saturday morning, and you're throwing around lime green dildos, for God's sake. Really? Really? Oh, my word. You can't take these people anywhere, I tell you the truth. Now, in all seriousness, John Bolton has gotten himself into trouble. And I'm not going to lie to you. Wait a minute. Gypsy's got a comment about Bolton's stash. Better under the stash and didn't have to do. Oh! Yeah, you're awful. Oh, Lord. Woo! Tell you, it's getting spicy on the electronic front porch this morning. Jeez. Wow. Holy cow. And thank you for that, Gypsy. I do appreciate it. Oh, wow. Oh, mercy. Now, seriously. Bolton had something I've been expecting and waiting for. People like Clapper, Comey, Brennan, among others, to have what happened to them, or what happened to Bolton happen to them. I didn't expect this to go down with Bolton, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I knew Bolton was like running his mouth, and I think it was the legendary commenter Lionel this morning on his live stream asked the question, is this payback? Probably. Yeah. Does anybody really have a problem with it on the MAGA side of things? No. I mean, Bolton has had something like this coming for a while. But now, and let me be very careful here. Do I want to see this ever happen to somebody because they have a political opinion that's different than the current power structure? No, I don't ever want to see that happen. However, it may very well be that that what happened to Bolton yesterday has got some legitimate basis behind it beyond just some kind of a payback over his pettiness. And with that said, we go to our first article of the morning from justthenews.com. Let me get this thing pulled up here. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Okay, here we go, folks. First article of the morning. This is from justthenews.com. Headline: FBI expands search to Bolton's Washington office. Trump expects Friday briefing. Article by John Solomon. We got the following. FBI agents early Friday raided the suburban Maryland home of former NSA advisor John Bolton as part of an investigation into a national security matter. FBI Director Kash Patel hinted at the action in a cryptic post on his on his X social media account. Quote, "No one is above the law at FBI agents on mission." Officials said the search of Bolton's Bethesda, Maryland home involved a national security case. Now listen to this. Involved a national security case that began under the Biden administration, but wasn't aggressively pursued until Patel took over earlier this year. They declined to be more specific. Police cars were spotted outside Bolton's residence in Bethesda, Maryland, with a small crowd gathering to observe the goings-on. According to the Associated Press, the FBI is also searching Bolton's D.C. office. President Trump told reporters on Friday that he had limited knowledge of the matter and expected a briefing later in the day. Quote, "They'll brief me probably today sometime," he said. I tell Pam and I tell the group I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer, but I feel it's better this way. End of quote from President Trump. Bolton was one of several national security advisors for Trump, but was eventually fired and became a critic of the current president and Patel's nomination as FBI director. All right, let's get into this. So John Bolton had his home raided and apparently had his offices raided as well. Oh, yes, and Robert's absolutely right about this. They did sweep a lot of different things under the rug. Ain't no doubt about that. You are right as rain, sir. So TBA says Kash Patel has also said they'll be checking into everyone's finances. Perhaps Bolton's bottom line has been padded. What did they find next to his Corvette? It's a Porch, and they got something apparently. That's interesting. So, yeah. John Bolton's home and offices were raided on Friday by the FBI. Now, as you might expect, the reaction to this was swift and predictable. Now, what do I mean by swift and predictable? Well, basically it gets down to this. Okay? The mainstream media took this as, oh my God, this is awful, this is terrible. And as a matter of fact, you had headlines just like this. Look at this from the Wall Street Journal. Trump's vendetta campaign targets John Bolton. Dun, dun, dun. This FBI raid makes clear that the second-term success for the president includes retribution. Something written by the editorial board. Vendetta campaign, retribution, targets. Really? But no one's asking the most important question of all. Is there a legitimate reason why this is happening? TBA over on Rumble says the FBI dudes didn't tell CNN they were raiding Bolton's home, so it was a shock to him very early in the morning. Well, you may be right about that, my friend. You may be right about that indeed. So I ask what I think is a very legitimate and very important question. Is this raid part of a legitimate investigation? Now, I agree with Lionel, if you happen to hear his live stream this morning. Do I think in part this is payback? Yeah, I'm being a realistic big boy here. Bolton ran his mouth. And I have no doubt in my mind that a certain amount of this is like, well, all right, FAFO. Okay. That said, is that all that it is? Is this all that it is? Well, I don't know. Mr. Scott Awesome says, I sent you a clip of John Bolton on the Twitters, not directly related to this, but it's more about his character. Okay, we'll check that out. Good morning, Kawan. Glad to have you in the house this morning, sir. Boom, fist bump to you. Okay, all right. Any raid of a government stooge is justified until proven otherwise. I don't know that I'm going to go that far, but I don't necessarily disagree with your assessment there, Mr. Lowry. All right, hang on, man. Let me see what it is that that Mr. Scott Awesome tagged me on here. Oh yeah. We might want to be using this. Hang on a second, and I know just exactly where to stick this. No snide comments from the OG wingnuts over there when I say I know where to stick this. So just chill yourself out. Dave's in the house this morning. Winning every day under Trump. Let's effing go. Front Porch brothers and sisters. Fist bump to you, sir, and welcome into this wonderful live stream this morning. Glad to have you here. Hang on a minute, folks. I said I knew where to stick this, and I know exactly where I want to put this. Give me 1 second here. One moment. Working on it. Where'd it go? Well, what did I do? Don't tell me I did that. Okay. So the mainstream media is saying, well, this is payback. Well, this is a vendetta. Well, this is retribution. This is targeting. Really? Funny, I don't remember you guys complaining this much when the same thing was happening to Donald Trump. And ironically enough, when the same man made the same comments, check this out.
Any given moment. But I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information, and he didn't appreciate the sensitivity of how it was often acquired, the so-called sources and methods. So this had been briefed to him before I arrived. It was repeated frequently. I think it simply had no impact on him whatever.
There's a couple of different ways that people think about this, and people who are not friendly to the president who think about what's happened here. And one of them is, Donald Trump, master thief, criminal, running some kind of elaborate conspiracy to bring things out of the White House and keep them secret for potentially for political or financial gain. There are other people who his attitude is Trump is chaotic. He's careless. He's not that smart. He took these things almost by mistake, and now he's basically stamping his feet and saying they're mine. I don't want to give them up. Give me a sense of where you think the truth lies with respect to Trump's intelligence, carelessness, and the degree to which he might have brought motive to bear on taking these documents out of the White House and keeping them for this long at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, it's very hard to speculate on motive other than that he liked cool things. He saw things so he wanted to take them, and he was pretty much able to take them, and not just on classified information matters, on all kinds of things that crossed his desk. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Why did he want them? Because he could get them.
Now, like I say, I don't hear everybody reminding everybody. I don't see everybody, in the mainstream media complaining too much about what happened to Donald Trump. Same thing. There was a raid on his house, was there not? WWG1 says, ah, yes, so Trump is a kleptomaniac. Got it. Thank you for the thing. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Trump's a kleptomaniac. If he wants something, he's just going to take it, no matter what. TBA says, if it's not coated in gold, why would Trump take anything? Good point. Good point indeed. So, yeah, here's another clip, and this is something that Mr. Scott Awesome tagged me on. You want an idea of what Bolton's character is like? You want an idea what this dude is really about? Well, let us show you what it was like, the man who they raided the other day. Check this out.
One doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did.
When we were talking about what is capable, what you need to do to be able to plan a coup, and you cited your expertise having planned coups.
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is John Bolton, ladies and gentlemen. This is John Bolton. But again, I ask the question, why did they do this? What were they looking for? In other words, there's some belief that there should be some reason why it is that the FBI should raid someone's house. I mean, surely they're not doing it for the sake of they think they can. But the mainstream media is not even focusing on that question. They're not asking themselves, is there a legitimate reason why? They're just simply complaining about it. You got, like I said, you got headlines coming out of the Wall Street Journal. You've got all kinds of things. Then you got commentary like this over on MSN. Now what? Oh, yeah, you didn't know that they changed their branding? They're no longer known as MSNBC. They're now known as MS Now. Frankly, I think we ought to recognize them for what they are. MS Now what? Now what in the respect of, okay, we've thrown everything else at Donald Trump and nothing seems to work. Now what do? We've told every lie we can imagine. Now what? So that's what I'm going to start calling her now. MS Now what? MS Now what chimed in on this whole situation. And here's some commentary from our friends over at Morning Joe. Check this out.
He thought that the president's summit in Alaska with Vladimir Putin was going to be a disaster. In fact, even before the summit occurred, he said that Trump had handed Putin a win. In fact, Trump went to social media to criticize Bolton for those comments. And now, a few days later, we have this. We don't know there's a link, but we certainly know this is a president who has promised retribution.
Yeah, this is chilling. It really is.
Chilling.
Listen, John Bolton and I disagreed on many things back in the days when I was serving in public office, but I don't think very many people that know John Bolton would argue that his beliefs were intellectually sound. You could disagree with him, and that he gave a lot to this country in terms of time and his intellect and his work ethic. And it clearly, this is retribution. Clearly, this is using the FBI in a way that not only tarnishes the FBI, but it tarnishes our country.
This is rich. Okay. Now, forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to tee off on this one. The deep state, be it under the direction of the Biden administration or in general as just its own entity that exists out there apart from our government, which is supposed to be running everything, the deep state went out of its way to weaponize the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the National Security Administration, etc., and so on, to target one man who just happened to be the president of the United States, and when he left office, the former president of the United States. And you're going to sit there and now, say to someone like me and everybody out in this audience, you're going to say to us, oh, this is chilling. This is weaponization of our institutions. We cannot have this, ladies and gentlemen. You started this, And you were warned, by the way. You were warned. Don't go this route. Don't do this. Do not do what you're talking about doing. Do not do what you are apparently looks like you're doing. Oh, Lord, you just ignored us and you did it anyway. Now, you opened the door for what happened to John Bolton yesterday. Okay? Let us assume for a moment. Okay? Let us assume for a moment there is not one predicate reason whatsoever legally why the FBI did this. Guess what? In one sense, you've already justified, you folks on the left and you folks out there in the supposed mainstream media, you have justified already what happened to John Bolton yesterday. Look, if this is being done without a legitimate legal predicate reason, okay, then I absolutely condemn it. I say it's wrong. It shouldn't happen to anybody, even though I disagree with John Bolton on a lot of things. Okay, I would say the same thing if it were happening to Gavin Newsom. Okay, if the FBI raided Gavin Newsom's home out there in Sacramento as the governor of California without a legitimate legal predicate reason, in other words, they did not have probable cause, they did not have a legitimate reason why they think they need to conduct this raid, I'd condemn it. Okay? But I go back to the question that I asked and I've been asking this whole time. Okay? And that is this. Why would you go to the trouble of raiding John Bolton's house? Why would you have the FBI, with everything that they're responsible for doing right now, why would you have them involved in this? What's going on? Why are you doing it? Okay, well, hold on, folks, because it looks like that there is a legitimate reason why this is happening. I take you now to the pages. of the Gateway Pundit, which, by the way, if you're not reading the Gateway Pundit, I highly recommend it to you. Okay? Gateway Pundit, check this out. Headline: John Bolton under investigation for violating sections of the Espionage Act. Whoa, wait a minute, whoa, hold it. What? Wait a minute, we were told this is retribution. We were told this was targeting. We were told this was a chilling effect upon the American experiment. Oh my, what? What do you mean he maybe have violated the Espionage Act? Well, I'll tell you what, let's check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Again, from the pages of the Gateway Pundit by Christine Layla, we have the following. Well, isn't this interesting, she starts off. John Bolton is reportedly under investigation for violating the Espionage Act, according to the New York Times. Quote, the investigation into whether John Bolton, President Trump's former national security advisor, mishandled classified information is trying to determine if he violated certain sections of the Espionage Act, which makes it a crime to illegally retain or transmit national defense information, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss details of the case, the New York Times reported. The FBI raided the home of Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, early Friday morning. FBI agents were sent to Bolton's home because he allegedly, quote, sent highly sensitive classified material to family members from a private unsecured email server. Oh, does that sound familiar to anybody? While he was working at the White House during the first Trump administration. Quote, investigators reopened a dormant probe into Bolton's alleged use of a private email to send classified national security documents to his wife and his daughter from his work desk before his dismissal by Trump in September of 2019, according to a senior U.S. official, the New York Post has reported. The investigation into John Bolton began back in 2020 when he used classified information to write his book titled, quote, The Room Where It Happened. The Biden administration halted the investigation into Bolton, but FBI Director Kash Patel revived it and ordered the raid on the former National Security Advisor's home. John Bolton has not been arrested nor charged with any crimes yet. So it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, that there was a legitimate predicate reason why the FBI raided John Bolton's home. So, yeah, let's see what happens here. Kawan says, I'll believe they're serious about this when we get a murder arrest for Seth Rich. Well, you ain't wrong there, brother. I can't. Or at least one single perp walk. Hold that thought, sir, because I've got one more clip related to this. It's all theater, Brian. Perp walks, or this is all huffing and puffing. I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you. Okay? I don't disagree with you at all. Hold that thought. I got one more thing to show you, at least related to this topic. And you can make up your own mind. But at least, I mean, if that's the standard, then hold on, because there might be something else you want to look at in this. Yes, old John Bolton, who was saying, yeah, the raid on Mar-a-Lago is justified. By all means, go ahead and do it. Yeah, I mean, some days he's interested in French fries. Some days he's interested in documents. If he wants to take something out of the White House, he just does it because he can. And all the chirping that John Bolton's been doing for years about Trump, classified documents, the Mar-a-Lago raid, how he's ignorant of certain procedures, he doesn't care about certain things, yada, yada, yada. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it may very well be the case that John Bolton may have retained records he shouldn't have, and on top of that, may have been transmitting classified information across unsecured email servers. Which sort of begs the question, what were you transferring them for? Let's just assume for the sake of argument, because now I'm curious. Okay, and I mean this, I'm genuinely curious. Okay, if you were sending classified materials by email across an unsecured server, why were you doing it? I mean, I'd kind of like to know, why were you doing it? I think that's a legitimate question. Next Pharaoh is in the house this morning. Hello, Robert. Well, hello, Next Pharaoh. There you go. Oh, yeah, and this gets to something else, which, in my opinion, we classify way too much stuff in Washington, D.C. for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, if it takes that long, ugh. TBA says they started it. Now Trump will finish the job. FISA courts go both ways. Apparently been reading the gateway pundit since it became fashionable. And now Tulsi says America will not be sharing any peace agreement secrets between Russia and Ukraine with the Five Eye countries. We don't trust our allies now. Weird. It's different when the shoe's on the other foot. Now, Bolton? Yeah, there you go, brother. The shoe is definitely on the other foot. Now, to Kawan's point, and I think this is a legitimate one. Okay, talk all you want to. Say what you want to. But when do we start seeing what actually happens here? When do we start seeing some perp walks? When do we start seeing some indictments? When do we start seeing some people go to jail? And totally legitimate. I'm not saying anybody's wrong if they have that feeling. I came across something this morning, and as always, I always try to, bring interesting material to your attention. Uncle Alex has weighed in on this. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the original conspiracy theorist himself, Alex Jones, has weighed in on this whole thing. And you know what? I've got a clip here, and I'm not going to play all of it, but I'll play part of it for you guys. This is his take on the whole Bolton raid. So with that, check this out.
Overnight, the FBI raided John Bolton. I told you this was coming. Trump's not playing games. Now, when you read the corporate news about it, you see Kash Patel, the FBI director, saying nobody's above the law, and they're not giving details. Well, I've told you months ago what was coming. And now I'm going to give you the rest of the story right now. You see, there's a statute of limitations on all of the perjury of Comey, Brendan, Clapper, Ray, and others in front of Congress, lying about not leaking, lying about not giving Trump real intelligence, lying about so many other things they did, lying about not knowing about the Russiagate thing or not knowing it was false when they created it. But because of the ongoing keeping of classified information that we know Bolton had, and the fact that it came out a few months ago when they released out of the Office of National Intelligence all those secret documents where Bolton was giving Trump fake intelligence briefings and holding back the real intelligence that they knew there was no Russia connection to Trump, that they'd actually created it. And of course, Bill Barr was involved, all of them, not just the Democrats. And so that all extends out because they have the secret documents, or at least had them, and they all colluded in racketeering for the Mar-a-Lago raid on Melania's panty drawer and all the rest of it, because they were trying to get documents that they knew Trump had. And of course, he was the president, so he was allowed to have them. It was Joe Biden who couldn't, as vice president, keep a bunch of documents. That's illegal. So again, this goes to the grand juries that are opened, not just on Jack Smith and all the rest of them, but specifically on Bolton, Clapper, all of them, Comey. So this is huge. And there are a bunch of grand juries people don't even know about that have been set up. I'll just leave it at that for you. And so to all my viewers, you remember 8 years ago, I was the one telling you you're not going to get indictments from Sessions and all the rest of them. Now I've been telling you, you're going to get indictments. It's going to happen. The only issue is the deep state is going to obviously stage some type of crisis or false flag to try to change the subject and try to bail themselves out.
Well, that's Uncle Alex's take on the whole thing. And again, you're at liberty to disagree with him. That's perfectly fine. Okay. We'll see what happens. Now, one last point on this and then we'll move on. Okay. Do I think, is the FBI going to somebody's house looking for information, showing up with a search warrant and taking documents out? Is that, oh yeah, it's a shocking thing, especially when you finally see it happening to people that you think it should have happened to a long time ago. But it's not the be-all and end-all, and this point is not original to me. Lionel made this morning, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. This is not the be-all and the end-all. It's just the start. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's Kawan. That's fair enough. I don't disagree with you, brother. I'm just saying, here's another perspective on it. So, like I say, everybody is at liberty to disagree with Uncle Alex on this one if they want to, and that's perfectly fine. I don't know. Look, I think there is a realization inside the Trump administration that if some people don't wind up in handcuffs getting perp walked out of their house or their office, then there's going to be, political hell to pay. I think they understand this. Now, do I want to see that happen absent real evidence and being able to prove in front of a jury that crimes actually happen? Of course not. I don't want to see Gestapo-like tactics anymore. Anybody else does. But if they can prove this stuff in a court of law and it doesn't start happening, there's going to be big time problems politically. But anyway, some comments about the John Bolton raid. We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes. The thing that I'm going to be very interested to see is when they release the terms of the search warrant to the public. I want to see why the judge granted a search warrant on John Bolton's house. In other words, what were they looking for? And that probably ought to happen somewhere in the next few days, if it hasn't happened already. So we'll see where this goes. But anyway, just some thoughts on that whole situation. All right. Let us move on to another train on the car, as it were. And we'll get into some discussions about some other things. Some of them we've already talked about in previous live streams. But before we do, if you have happened upon this live stream this morning for the very first time, and you're sitting there going, gosh, these guys are funny. This audience is a hoot. The comments are great. The chat is lively. The host he's something else. Well, let me introduce myself and introduce these wonderful people who are in chat on both sides. My name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative, and you have happened on the 100th episode of Front Porch Brunch. This is a live stream that I do on the weekends. I go out on YouTube. I go out on Rumble. I go out on Twitter. We talk about the news, we let everybody give their views, and we try to make our way through this crazy thing that we call life. If this is your cup of tea, why don't you go and subscribe to my channel on YouTube and Rumble? And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment in chat. Share the link around to your friends and tell them, hey, this guy's a little goofy, but I think he actually knows what he's talking about. And while you're at it, introduce them to the wonderful members that make up Fedora Nation. Folks in chat on Rumble, folks in chat on live stream, and, God love you. Become a part of one of the best little communities in the whole of social media. You will be thankful that you did. All right. Got to go back and revisit the whole Cracker Barrel situation, or maybe it's better to say we've got some updates, okay? Now, as you all are aware, we talked about this on Thursday night, the whole rebranding of Cracker Barrel. And needless to say, it's gone over like a Led Zeppelin, all right? This thing has fallen like a lead balloon. It's terrible. There is so much backdraft coming off of this toward the CEO and the other muckety-mucks and poobahs that run the Cracker Barrel Corporation based out of Lebanon, Tennessee, that you gotta wonder if we're not headed for Bud Light 2.0 here. And I really do believe it. Now, the reason that I want to bring this back up, there's a couple things, but one in particular, and that is, I said Thursday evening that I wasn't sure whether Cracker Barrel was doing this to become, in their minds, in line with their values, or their new values, is better to say. In other words, are they going woke? Are they going DEI? I mean, what's the deal? Or did they just do a rebrand and it just didn't go over well? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it turns out that I was wrong in my assessment, and I've always told you that if I get something wrong, I will be the first one to come to the microphone and admit it. I got that one wrong. I gave Cracker Barrel benefit of the doubt, and I think it's starting to become pretty obvious I never should have, and I'll explain to you why here in a minute. But in the meanwhile, in the midst of this backlash about the logo change for Cracker Barrel, there are people, consumers, who care very deeply about making sure that Cracker Barrel continues as a business institution and, frankly, a cultural institution. I mean, for those of us, in certain parts of the country, going to the Cracker Barrel was like an experience. I mean, you take your friends, you take your family, you go there for the atmosphere, you go there for the down-home country cooking, you go there for the whole experience, and people want to see that continue. That's understandable, okay? To that end, folks have been submitting suggestions to corporate headquarters for Cracker Barrel of things they could do to make the logo better. I mean, if Cracker Barrel is not going to go back to the previous logo they had, okay, then what could you do to improve the logo so people would find it, better, okay? And my buddy Clancy here says, I want to experience America. I want to dine in old school Cracker Barrel. Brother, if we can find a way to get you up here And if you wind up getting in my neck of the woods, I will take you to my local Cracker Barrel. Now, I don't know that they're going to be, if they will have changed by the time you get here, but if you manage to get your way up here, brother, by all means, we're gonna get you taken care of. We'll get you to a Cracker Barrel, among other places. So I'm just saying, we'll conspire with Sean and Gina and everybody else, and we'll get you up here. But anyway, people have been submitting suggestions to corporate headquarters for Cracker Barrel for different ideas that you could do for the logo. For example, here's one that was just submitted recently, and I know about this because, the internet never lies. And this is one of the suggestions for a new, an improved logo for Cracker Barrel. Now, some of these are better than others, and I have several examples here. But this one I know was recently submitted. It looks pretty good. It's not too bad. Strangely, though, the guy playing the keyboard and the lady on the microphone, they look kind of familiar. I don't know what that's all about. So, anyway. Now we've got a few others here, and if you'll indulge me just a moment, I'll see if I can get all these pulled up. Here's another one, although I don't know how well this one's going to go over, especially given some of the backlash. But this was suggested as a new logo for Cracker Barrel. However, I think this one may wind up igniting an old debate about pronouns. I call me crazy. Call me crazy if you wish, but this one, I'm kind of not feeling it here. I don't know if this one's going to work out too well or not, but we'll see what happens. So, and there are others. Again, if you'll give me just a moment, I'll get these pulled up for you. There have been many suggestions sent to corporate Cracker Barrel. Matter of fact, somebody sent this one in. I mean, with the idea, if you're not going to put Uncle Herschel back on the logo, well, if you want to get people to come into your restaurant, maybe you ought to think about this. I mean, look, the guy's on a roll right now. Maybe he can help Cracker Barrel improve their sales. So this was submitted as a suggestion for a potential logo change for Cracker Barrel. Yeah. So, wait a minute. You did? You sent me? Okay. Did you send it through Discord, or did you tag me on Twitter? Just let me know how you did, and I'll go grab the thing. So, goodness me. Oh yeah. So you got this one, and then there was another one that was recently submitted. Hang on, let me see if I can get my hands on this. Yeah, I mean, some of these are better than others. Matter of fact, yeah, here's one that was submitted. Although, again, I don't know, guys. I could be wrong. I don't know how well this one's going to be received. Hey, I'm just saying, ooh, I don't know, guys. I mean, if truly the folks at Cracker Barrel are trying to find a way to go woke, this may not be the best way to do it. I'm just saying, Oh, goodness me. Yeah, let's see what else. I think I had a couple of more here. Yeah, here's another one. And again, I don't know. Like I said, some of these are received better than others. Yeah. Not only are they talking about a logo change, they're talking about a name change. Oh my goodness! What the world? Oh no! Ugh, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. Look. I can put the veto down on this one. Okay, I am telling you, this one is not going to get people into the restaurant. Okay, Cracker Barrel, don't do it. Really, don't do it. This will not work. This is not going to work. Do not do this as a logo change to try and save your restaurant. TBA says, someone quick, disavow that one. I disavow it. Okay. I disavow this one. Okay. No, do not do this. Do not do this, Cracker Barrel. No. We disavow. Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness me. This one would suit the San Francisco chains if God. Clancy, you're awful. You are awful. Oh. No, you approve of it. Oh my God. Clancy, I'm not so sure we ought if you're going to be like that, I'm not so sure we ought to let you out of Australia. You're going to be acting like that. Oh my word. Oh, Kawan's with you on this. Oh my God. You guys are awful. Just plain awful. Hang on a minute. I got to find it here. Z Highness just sent me one. Oh yeah. Yeah. We got to do this. We got to do this. Oh my Lord. Yep. Oh, goodness me. Let's see. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can get this one pulled up here. One moment. No, hang on a minute, guys. I got to take this off of, got to take this one off of, got to take this one off of Discord, and I got to take it over to, oh, come on. Hang on, Z Highness. Hang on, darling. There we go. That might do it. One moment, folks. Trying to work out some technical difficulties here. Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah. Here's one that Z Highness came across, and again, some of these suggestions for logo changes are better than others. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. I mean, I think people are very well intended. I just don't know how well this is gonna. I don't know how well this is gonna work out. Oh my goodness, Midmo! You son of a gun, you so and so. How you doing this morning? A fist bump in your general direction, sir. Do I have a Discord? No, unfortunately, I don't. I have not set up one of those things. I mean, guys, here's my philosophy. I mean, look, for those of y'all that have your own Discords, God love you. Yeah, and again, another great fit for, this one might work out real well in LA County. I'm just saying. Guys, for those of y'all that have Discords, God love you. I mean, I've got enough trouble keeping up with whatever electronic stuff I got going on right now. So that's part of the reason why I haven't created a Discord for myself. So, but thank you for asking, Clancy. But no, I have not done so. Now I will say this. Now we've been joking around a little bit about these rebrandings that people are coming up with, but I said a moment ago that it may very well be that Cracker Barrel is actually now at the conclusion of a long march toward, being woke and being DEI. Well, I've got an article here, and let me find it real fast. Here, hang on. Here we go. This is from a website called thestreet.com. And I want to read parts of this to you guys. Here's the headline. Cracker Barrel faces major pushback over DEI program. Retailers like Target and brands, including Bud Light, have been hurt by boycotts over diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Okay. And this is an article by Kirk O'Neill. This was published about a month ago. Backlash over corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies have led to several major companies downplaying their DEI programs in 2025. Now, I want to skip ahead just a little bit, and I want to get to the question about Cracker Barrel. Listen to this. And again, some of this I did not know, which, by the way, before I go any further with this article, I've got to give a shout out right now to Carrie Smith. If you are not familiar with Carrie Smith, folks, there's a channel you definitely need to subscribe to. And some of this information that I'm bringing you right now, Carrie was talking about yesterday on her live stream. I'm going to go ahead right now and put in chat on both sides her live stream from yesterday. If you really want a good deep dive on Cracker Barrel's recent past, I strongly recommend that you check out Carrie Smith's live stream. This one was, I mean, don't get me wrong. Every time that girl goes behind the microphone, it is a good time. She is a lot of fun and very smart and very articulate. But I gotta say, this is probably one of the best live streams that I've seen her do in a while. So if you really want a deep dive on this, go check out Carrie Smith. And like I say, a hat tip to Lady Carrie for some of the information she provided, because it's making up part of my commentary this morning. Yes, absolutely. Carrie Smith is one of the best. And I got to get her back on the channel sometime and catch up with her, because Carrie is just a load of fun. And if you think my diversity of hats is something, you ought to ask her about her hat collection. So, yep. Oh, yeah. Carrie's a sweetheart. Carrie is an absolute sweetheart. I totally agree with His Highness. But anyway, let's get back to this article, shall we? And we read the following. And now, popular dining chain Cracker Barrel is facing an attack on its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies from legal advocacy group America First Legal, a conservative non-for-profit founded by White House aide Stephen Miller. America First Legal requested that the U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission and the Tennessee Attorney General investigate Cracker Barrel for alleged potential violations of federal and state civil rights laws stemming from its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, according to a July 21st America First Legal statement. Going further into the article, the restaurant chain has faced a backlash in the past, as in August 22nd, when it added a plant-based sausage option to its menu. It does not take traditional sausages off the menu and only adds a meat-free choice, and that angered some of its customer base, which called for boycotts. Cracker Barrel launched its diversity and inclusion strategy in June 2021, which included an effort to, quote, better identify, recruit, and advance strong, racially and ethnically diverse talent, WMAL Radio reported. The restaurant chain also asserted its support for the NAACP and the Urban League, as well as doing more to recognize LGBTQ plus community in its diversity and inclusion strategy. The company in 2024 shifted its diversity and inclusion strategy to culture and inclusion, focusing on culture, workforce, and business. And below is a little bit from their corporate website. Cracker Barrel's culture: to educate, advocate, and communicate to create an inclusive, engaging culture and work environment. Under workforce: to attract, select, and develop and retain high-performing talents with diverse backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. And finally, under business: to build and nurture diverse partnerships in the communities where we live and work and ensure we have diverse representation in our advertising. Now, folks, I'm going to ask a question. And again, the question's not original to me, but it's a question that Carrie Smith asked yesterday. What does this have to do with making good pancakes? I have a question for you, my audience. Are you going to Cracker Barrel because of their DEI, or are you going there because they're supposed to make good food? Seriously. What the heck? What the heck? Wait. What is this? What is Mr. Scott J87? Well, hello, sir. Hang on. Who is this gentleman here? Is it? Let's see. Anyone else here from the America Untold Stories crew? Blew your cover yesterday. What the heck? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, indeed. To go back to Carrie Smith's question, what does this have to do? What does this have to do with making pancakes or baking biscuits? Look, and I understand the thinking in part of officials at Cracker Barrel. You want to do something to not only maintain the business base you got, but to keep expanding, keep growing. You don't want things to become stagnant in terms of sales and revenue. I understand that. Okay? But if you have a dip in sales and revenue, it's not necessarily because you're not, quote, diverse enough. You want to know part of the charm of Cracker Barrel is that it doesn't change. Part of the charm of Cracker Barrel is you actually feel like you're going into a restaurant and you feel like you're going back home, particularly if you're from the South. What I mean by going back home, you're going back to a better time, an older time. You know, part of the reason why I love going to Cracker Barrel, aside from the food, and for those of you who are regulars at a Cracker Barrel, you're going to understand what I'm talking about here. It's going in and seeing all of the old signage up on the walls for old products that don't even exist anymore. And ask me, you know, which ones I'm referring to. I don't necessarily have a name in my head. If I were sitting inside of a Cracker Barrel, I could tell you immediately. You know, but that's part of the charm. And part of the backlash is people don't want it to change. When Cracker Barrel went all rainbow, it does change. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't say you're wrong. Third Railifies in the house over on the Rumble side. Hello, friends. LOL, I'm not going there. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Real. Yeah, I mean, look. Folks, I hate to say this. I mean, I think, and I could be wrong about this. I mean, you guys are sharper-eyed cats than I am, but this one snuck up on me. This one really snuck up on me. You know, and that's yeah. Why? Why are we doing this? You know what? I am so glad you brought this up, Minmo, because I got something. Let me give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second, because I got something. As a matter of fact, I got to thank Camelot for this one, because he posted this morning. I was like, man, he is absolutely right. Folks, why do we really need to? I mean, seriously, we got to change everything. Yeah, this is what change is getting us right now. All right, look at all these restaurants on the left. Okay, this is what McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Cracker Barrel, Taco Bell, this is what they used to look like. Okay, those were fun places to go. Okay, they really were. They were a load of fun. All right. Now, did we go there for the architecture? No, not necessarily. But the way they looked was part of the reason why we went. Okay? It was unique to the brand. Now, these four companies, now the one for Cracker Barrel, the new, I think that's a little bit extreme. I've never seen a Cracker Barrel yet that looks like that. But McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, yeah, the ones you're looking at on the right, these are examples of what the, quote, modern McDonald's, the modern Pizza Hut, the modern Taco Bell look like. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. Okay, true. Yeah, you're right. I don't disagree with that. But I mean, even the change in the architecture is proof of just this desire for blandness. Yeah, no, I got this one. Camelot posted this one. Yeah, Camelot 331 posted this one on his Twitter page this morning. And I thought, oh, that's good. I want to use that. You know, yeah, the sterilization of restaurants. We want everyone to look the same, be the same, have no color, have no, variety, have no whatever. Okay. None of it. Don't want any of that to happen. And it's just, why? Because we've got to celebrate blandness. We've got to celebrate everyone looking the same, acting the same, thinking the same, being the same, just, whatever. It's just so frustrating. And this is something that Carrie Smith mentioned specifically on her live stream the other day. And I really do. I encourage you, go out and listen to this one, because I mean, Carrie Smith was on fire where this subject came up. She really was. She was not only a load of fun to listen to, but extremely informative. Okay. WWG1 says, turning all your buildings into industrial-looking structures is psychological conditioning. Just look at the former Soviet Union. That is exactly, WWG1, that's exactly what she was referring to. She can say it so much better than I can, but you bring up a valid point. Psychological conditioning. All the buildings look industrial. They don't have any flair, any color, any uniqueness, nothing. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Now, Cracker Barrel, for their part, is I mean, I've been saying we're headed toward Bud Light 2.0. Well, if you want some proof of that, check this out. I got a story here from Fox News. Cracker Barrel dismisses critics as vocal minority, while rival restaurant adds to backlash. Okay. Now, I bring up this article to point out, and I'm going to go a little bit into this. I won't read all of it, but there's one part of it I want to read to you guys. Yeah, so executives at Cracker Barrel are saying this is nothing more than a vocal minority. Okay. Hang on a minute. Let me find it here real fast. Okay. Yeah, it's further down. It's further down into this article. Give me 1 second. Give me one moment to get to this. Yeah, even Steak Escape is getting in. One of their competitors is getting in on this, which I'll get to that here in just a moment. Hang on, I gotta find this. Hang on. Here it is. Cracker Barrel, they made a statement. All the elements of our remodels were informed by direct input from our guests and team members alike. These changes are for them. Now, here's the kicker. Cracker Barrel added, quote, there may be a vocal minority that feels differently. However, the strong performance of these locations affirms that we are moving in the right direction. Okay. We hope people who haven't yet visited a remodeled store will visit us and experience the country hospitality proudly on display at every table and every dish. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is the attitude that Cracker Barrel is going to take, okay, and I get it. There are millions and millions and millions of dollars involved, okay? there are millions of dollars involved in a rebranding, okay, especially on the level that Cracker Barrel's trying to do it. But if this is the attitude that the leadership team at Cracker Barrel is going to take, folks, in my mind, this is more evidence we're headed for Bud Light 2.0. Like I said Thursday night, I don't know to what degree. I don't know how bad this is going to get for Cracker Barrel, but I'm telling you guys, they're making all the same mistakes that Bud Light made. They're making all the same mistakes. Remember back to the Bud Light controversy. The Dylan Mulvaney ad runs. Everybody gets upset about it. The leadership at the parent company for Bud Light doubles down on it. Then information starts coming out about how Bud Light has gone woke. They've gone DEI. The value of the stock tanks. You couldn't sell Bud Light. Now, am I saying that it's going to get this bad for Cracker Barrel? I have no idea yet. But I'm telling you, the leadership team at Cracker Barrel is making all the same mistakes. They're making all the same mistakes that the crew at Bud Light made. Yeah, and Minmo is still boycotting Bud Light over the whole thing. I'm telling you. Sean over from Third Railify on Rumble says this is more Jaguar than it's Bud Light. That could be. That could very well be. Like I said, I don't know to what degree this is gonna get yet. I mean, and that's a pretty good scale. On a scale of Bud Light to Jaguar, where does this Cracker Barrel situation fall? I don't know yet. I don't know. But I'm just, I just don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. Cracker Barrel can go F themselves. They were the best in the 1980s, and then they went corporate whore. A lot of people, I have family members who, go to the Cracker Barrel on a fairly regular basis. They've even said for the past couple of years that the food doesn't taste the same. The quality of the food is not quite as good. And maybe that's part of it, Gypsy. Like I say, they snuck this one past everybody, I think. Or maybe it's better to say they snuck this past a lot of people, this woke DEI. Everybody focused on Target and Bud Light and other companies, etc. And again, there were some sharper eyes than mine who were keeping an eye on this one. But yeah, Cracker Barrel very subtly snuck this DEI move past everybody, and now the full fruition of it's coming into play. So we'll see how all this plays out. We'll see what happens here. Anyway, all right, tell you what, let's move on to a different compartment of the train. It's 12 o'clock on a Saturday. So we'll get to a new topic here momentarily. But thank you guys so much already for being here. Oh, wait. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on, folks. Breaking news. Somebody just pointed this out to me. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. We have a statement from the CEO of Cracker Barrel, Miss hang on, let me find her name here real fast. I had it here a second. Yeah, we've got a statement from the CEO of Cracker Barrel, and this is unusual. They're doing this on a Saturday afternoon. But yeah, I will play this for you guys. Folks, we have a statement from the CEO of Cracker Barrel about the changes that they made, and it may be they're changing their minds about this. Folks, do me a favor and check this out. This is late breaking.
Hi, I'm Julie, CEO of your favorite Southern themed restaurant, and I want all of you to know that we hear you. We fucked up. So we're going to fix it, starting with Uncle Herschel. Don't you dare move from that rocking chair, sir. You're back in the logo. Yeah. You said we went woke. Fuck that. Not only did we go back to our Southern roots, we doubled the fuck down. How are those pancakes tasting?
It's like a Kid Rock concert in my mouth.
Do you own a certain red hat? Well, guess what? 25% off. How do you like them pancakes? I'll take it. But I'm still going to call you woke. Please, please, please come back to Cracker Barrel. I beg of you. I just lost this company $100 million over a logo made in Canva. I thought you fuckers liked that Chip and Joanna shit. Well, lesson fucking learned. Help a sister out, please.
Well, I don't know. I appreciate the fact that she's trying to reverse course here, but I don't know if that statement is going to really do her any good. We'll see what happens. But, oh my gosh. Woo! So we have now heard from the CEO of Cracker Barrel. Apparently they realize that they've made a mistake and, maybe they're going to turn this around. I don't know. We'll see. And I love you guys. I really do. Oh, good. Go good. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, by all means, send. I hope she uses it. Carrie is a very God-fearing lady, and I know she has certain aversions to certain words. Not to say she hasn't used them before, but I think she's going to find that to be a very, very funny take on the whole thing. All right, let's shift gears a little bit, or maybe, like I said, better to say, head to a different compartment of the train. And I want to talk about something. This is an article that ran last week. And normally I don't get into this sort of thing. And when I say I don't get into it, I don't necessarily talk about it on my live streams because from my perspective, there are so many better commentators and content creators who can address these issues. But this one is just so hitting me over the head. I was like, I got to talk about this one. There's an article that ran in Variety magazine as it relates to Disney. And when you say the word Disney these days, I mean, that can take on so many different topics related to so many different conversations. But this one is interesting because it may very well be that the leadership at Disney is realizing, for economic reasons, that they have royally screwed up over the past 15 to 20 years in terms of the product that they're making. And they're trying to find their way how they dig themselves out of the problem that they've got. And so, and like I said, there are people like Nerdrotic, The Critical Drinker, Valiant Renegade, Culture Casino, so many others on that side of the commentary space. I mean, just a couple of others off the top of my head. Heel versus Babyface, Young Ripa, who can have been commenting on this sort of thing for the longest time now. But I thought, you know what? This one I read about, and I was like, yeah, I want to talk about this. So let me take you to the pages of Variety magazine. This one intrigues me for a lot of reasons. From Variety, headline, Disney's boy trouble. No, y'all, calm down. That's not necessarily meaning what you think it might. Just keep it. Studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men among Marvel and Lucasfilm struggles. Ooh, now this is interesting. Article by Matt Donnelly, we have the following. Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones looking for a prince. Leadership at Walt Disney has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months, multiple sources tell Variety. Now, what have they been pressing them for? Check this out. For movies that will bring back young men to the brand in a meaningful way. Young men here is being defined as ages 13 to 28, aka Generation Z. First, duh. Every film studio is looking for a better way to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Numerous studies show that Gen Z men in particular are a lonely, gaming-obsessed group who were hampered in their formative years by COVID-19 lockdowns. Not the easiest segment to grasp. I'm not sure if I agree with that descriptor of Gen Z young men, but okay, that's your take on it. What's surprising producers, writers, and other partners in the larger industry is that Disney has been calling for, get this, original concepts to lure the demo back to the movies. All right, now I'm intrigued. Let's go further. This is the same Disney whose multi-billion-dollar content engines, Marvel and Lucasfilm, have sated men of all ages for almost 2 decades since the company acquired them. The sources say Disney has been seeking new intellectual properties and pitches such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts, as well as seasonal fare films like for the Halloween corridor. The calls come from the Star Wars as the calls come as the Star Wars machine struggles to produce any film project, and the superhero genre sheds audiences by the minute. 2 insiders say the mandate to recruit young males goes as high as the C-suite. The task primarily has fallen on David Greenbaum, the former Searchlight Pictures co-head who was brought on in 2024 to run Disney's live-action film business. Reading a little bit further, that label has been sorely lacking in guy-leading fare like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise for nearly 10 years. Studio insiders say the property is in active development, though not in its last reported iteration involving Margot Robbie. To say nothing of the lackluster attempt to reboot and hand off Indiana Jones in 2023, which earned $383 million worldwide on a $300 million budget before marketing cost. Translation, they lost their shirts on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. A Disney source says that movies for Gen Z men are part of an overall strategy across all labels, but none more urgent than any other quadrant. Greenbaum recently hired Daria Sirkek, the savvy former Paramount Pictures co-chief, to assist in this effort. Greenbaum is beloved by talent, but has largely existed in the prestige indie sphere, while Sirkek shepherded films from franchises like Sonic the Hedgehog, A Quiet Place, and Smile. Some think the push for this demographic is simply Greenbaum trying to put his stamp on live action, yet numerous power players who spoke with Variety see something ominous in the tea leaves. When execution is correct, Disney's sweet spot at the movies has been millennials. That generation has rapidly consumed classic vault titles like The Lion King, 101 Dalmatians, and Lilo and Stitch as kids. Now they bring their children in droves to see live-action reboots. This year's billion-dollar grosser Lilo and Stitch over-indexed with men and boys. Disney previously said Gen Z is a different story. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute. I've got a piece of advice for the folks at Disney. And I know you guys are not going to listen to me, but I'm going to give you this piece of advice anyway. Okay? The reason that Marvel is failing is 2 things, at least from my humble perspective. Okay? And don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan, or I should say, I was a huge fan of the Marvel movies, all the way from Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man back in 2008, all the way up to the Avengers movies, the Infinity War and Endgame. Okay? Love those movies. Absolutely love them. Why did I love them? Well, because by and large, they were entertaining. They did not push woke ideology. They did not push DEI. They simply tried to translate a story from comic books to film. Especially when I believe it was Paramount I believe it was Paramount who did the original Iron Man, the Thor movie, and I want to say Hulk. No, that may have been Sony. But anyway, you get my point. There was a strong desire to tell the story as it was. Okay? Take it from comic book pages to film. Honor the source material. Don't try and change it. Don't try and water it down. Don't try and change it to the way you think it ought to be. Just take it from the pages of the comic book to the film. Now, there's obviously some things you can't do, and I get that. Okay? But that was what they were trying to do. The Captain America movie, the first Avenger, great film. I mean, I forget what year it debuted, but it's a fantastic movie. Okay? Then, rounds about 2017, 18, 19, when you started putting other films into production, you started getting away from that. Okay? You want to know why Marvel is struggling right now? Is because after about 4 or 5 years of the woke DEI diversity crowd crap you've been trying to put out, everybody's turned off to it. People are like, oh, we have superhero fatigue. No, we don't. We have fatigue over a badly produced and developed and executed project. If you guys would simply go back to what you, and I don't even know if you can at this point, because the brand is so tarnished. If Disney Marvel simply went back to what they were doing in the early 2010s when they made those films, okay, you might turn this thing around. Not now. Star Wars? Oh, Lord, do not get me started on that topic. Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilms, has ruined Star Wars. Between her and J.J. Abrams and a whole bunch of other people, which I could drop names, some of them you may recognize, some of them you wouldn't. They've ruined it. It's not that Gen Z young men won't want to watch these films. It's just you've made them so unpalatable. They're like, heck no, I ain't getting near this. This is not Star Wars. This is not Marvel. These are not the comic books that I read as a kid. These are not, the stories that I watched. This is not Luke Skywalker. Okay? And again, there are other commentators out there who can speak to this thing so much better than I can. And I recommend their channels to you. Okay? But when I came across this and it says, Disney executives are now seeking new original IPs, please don't do that. Please don't. You've already ruined the intellectual properties that you acquired. For the love of God, do not ruin anything else. Your problem isn't that you don't have enough diversity of things on film. Your problem is you're just producing crap that nobody wants to watch. And I get it. You're trying to make money. I understand that. Okay? You're trying to make money, and I don't begrudge you trying to make money. I mean, you're a corporation. I get that. But your problem isn't that you don't have that. You're sitting there thinking, how do we get Gen Z young men to watch our movies? And well, then make a good movie. How about go back and fire everybody at Lucasfilm that have been a part of this abomination of desolation that you've created for the past 15 years, ever since Disney got a hold of Lucasfilm and George Lucas sold away the rights to it? How about you fire everybody associated with this abomination of desolation and start over? I mean, George is still around. I mean, for the love of God, go talk to the man. He gave you ideas about what you could have done when you first bought the franchise. Okay? Where Marvel is concerned, go back and talk to the old comic book writers, the ones that are still alive. Go back and talk to true comic book aficionados if you want to figure out good stories to tell on film. This isn't hard to turn around. This isn't hard to turn around for you guys. But going out and saying, we need new intellectual properties, we need new ideas. No, I'm not saying you shouldn't have some of that, but for the love of God, why don't you just make a good product that everybody wants to watch? Why don't you just make a product that tries to approximate the source material from which it comes and put that on film? And while you're at it, why don't you get the woke DEI crap out of your movies, and you might actually begin to make a product that people are like, hey, that looks like fun. That's something else. How about you make something that's fun? Not preachy. You want to know why Doctor Who, which, by the way, Disney managed to get their claws into that one. You want to know why Doctor Who is about to go on hiatus for God knows how many years? I'll tell you why. Have you seen that stuff they did since Jodie Whittaker left and David Tennant came back on under the auspices of Russell T. Davies, the old showrunner? It was terrible. Ncuti Gatwa, who took over from David Tennant, he tanked it even further, he and Russell. Why? They woke DEI'd it. They strayed from the source material and they made crap. Absolute crap. TBA over on Rumble says, bring back Steven Spielberg and his original movies and George Lucas's stories. It's supposed to be entertaining, not moralizing. Exactly. TBA also says, let Disney go the way of the dodo bird. Let them die an ignominious death. You know, that's the position that some content creators are taking, particularly Eric July, the owner and the CEO of Rippaverse Comics. There's a great debate in nerddom these days, and it's embodied in two different individuals. You've got Eric July on one side of it, who's like, let it die. Let it die. Let's create new properties. Let's create new ideas. Let's create something the public wants. You got Nerderotic on the other side, who's like, yeah, but can we try and save these things? Can we try it? I don't know which side's going to win. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. But I read that article from Variety and I was like, you guys don't get it. It's not that you necessarily need new IP products. It's just you need to improve the product you've already got. Don't go out and get a hold of something and ruin it just like you've ruined Lucasfilm and you've ruined Marvel. Your issue is not your diversity of offerings. Your issue is the quality of the offerings you've already got. Crazy. Anyway, I came across that and I wanted to comment on it. I hope you enjoyed the discussion of it. Mr. Scott Awesome says, we know they can make a good movie. I thought Star Wars Rogue One was that's a good example. Honestly, that's one of the best examples. That's one of the best examples of a good Star Wars movie in the era of Kathleen Kennedy running Lucasfilm. I loved Rogue One. I thought it was great. I really did. The acting was good. The storyline was solid. But yeah, I thought that Rogue One was a great example of what you could do with Star Wars. Andor has been critically praised by people that I respect for this sort of thing. The Critical Drinker has given it good positive reviews. Not necessarily every episode of it, but it's original Star Wars content that actually is not bad. But most everything else, garbage. Absolute garbage. It breaks the heart. It really does. Well, frankly, you're not the only one that feels that way, my friend. Not at all. And here's something that ought to scare current Hollywood to death if it's not already scaring them to death. So yeah, absolutely. Anyway, all right. Tell you what, we're going to bring this train into the station. Let's see. WWG1 says, I don't remember the last time I went to a movie. What was the last movie that you saw, Brian? The Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck. Good movie. I recommend The Accountant 2 and the original film, The Accountant. Those are some pretty good movies. A little violent. I'm not going to say they're not, but, in the context of what they're doing, those movies are pretty good. But yeah, the last movie that I went to the theater to see was The Accountant 2. And that was several months ago. Honestly, I used to look so forward to going to the movies during the summer. There's nothing out there now. Nothing that intrigues me enough that I want to go watch it. Nothing. And maybe that's a product of me getting older. Maybe that's a product of streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime, etc. But honestly, there's very little fare out there that I want to go watch at the movie theater, that I go pay the money to go see a movie on a Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. Nothing. Anyway, let's bring this train into the station. I'm going to have to skip over HodgePodge 2. I've got some stories lined up for that. I might do it Wednesday evening. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. This has been a load of fun as always. This special 100th edition of Front Porch Brunch. I want to thank you for the super chats, the comments, the laughs, the company. You guys have been completely and totally awesome. We will be back this Wednesday evening, 7:30 Eastern, for the Wednesday night newsroom. And please hit the thumbs up button on your way out if you're still here. Love all you guys very much. You have a great weekend. And remember, next weekend, aside from being Labor Day weekend, is the beginning of college football season. And I've got some things to say about that come Wednesday night. An institution that's been a part of more college football weekends than I can think of is hanging up the microphone next Saturday. Lee Corso's retiring. And I'm going to have some comments to make about that probably Wednesday evening. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of it. The super chats, the thumbs up, the comments, the laughs, the memes, the videos. You guys are totally awesome. And remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." We love you guys very much. You have a great weekend, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.